Guys, welcome back to another vlog. It's been a hot minute since I've been on here. If you have not watched my vlogs before, my name's Danielle and I am a flight attendant here in the US. I just moved this summer to Portland, Oregon. So if you haven't been watching, then there's the news. I've been living here for over 6 months now, and I am based in Denver, Colorado still. So I am a commuter and life has been so different lately, but anyways, I made myself some green tea and thought we'd chit chat a bit and I would take you along my trip that starts tomorrow while we're experiencing this government shutdown. So we don't know what we're gonna get from day to day as flight attendants. So if you're interested in seeing how that's gonna affect travel, and I can talk a little bit about my trips that I had earlier this week and how those went down and all the delays we had, then keep watching. Okay, so come with me over to the couch. I am so excited. I am in my new house. If you haven't seen my updates, I mean, I haven't really shared that much about my house or my move, just for privacy reasons and just lack of vlogging, but here we are. I am sitting on my first ever new couch in my whole life. I am 30 years old and this is my first new wonderful couch. It is so amazing. We got it from a company called Reibert, which is an online company where you can mix and match your like pieces. And so if you're interested in seeing like the whole doodad, I'll show you what it's like. But this thing just like sucks you in. So anyways, I thought, and no, that's not sponsored. I thought I would stick you over here on my little coffee table and we could chit chat about life and what's been going on. Okay, so now that we're all cozy, let's settle in and chit chat about what's been going on with the airlines lately. I know that's everyone's main question about flying and holiday travel specifically. And I just want to preface this by saying, whatever I talk about, delays, this and that, is not company specific. So this doesn't reflect or represent my employer in any way. These are just my experiences and my opinions. So we'll just start with that. But yes, if you don't know already, in the United States, because our government is shut down temporarily, our air traffic controllers and TSA agents, since they're federal workers, are not getting paid. So many of them are calling out sick, they're fatigued, all these different things. So we have such few controllers that all these flights are getting delayed. So that hopefully catches you up to speed on the general scope of what's been going on. So from what I understand, all that started on November 8th. So that was this past Friday, and today is Monday the 10th. And I did experience one trip so far that I had, and it was a 3-day trip beginning on Friday. So felt kind of like I was going into battle there. Flight attendants knew that the flights were gonna be cut like 10% or something along the lines of that. And so I was supposed to have 2 flights from Denver to San Francisco, then San Francisco to Miami, which I was pretty excited about. I was supposed to have 22 hours laying over there, and we stayed at this really cute hotel. I actually have a vlog about it in my previous vlogs. But by the time we finally took off to San Francisco, our flight was about 2.5 hours delayed because of traffic congestion, landing and taking off for air traffic control, basically. So we were late to San Francisco and we missed our flight to Miami. So that was the first thing that happened on that trip. So since we missed it, they called another crew to take over. So I believe that flight to Miami still went out and still left, but that was also delayed. So the majority of what I'm seeing here is just a couple hours worth of delays on multiple flights because it's a domino effect. So it is pretty bad based on what I've seen compared to other delays, tech outages in the past. It seems like many flights are having multiple hours of delay, so just keep that in mind. As long as this government shutdown continues, in my personal opinion, I think that we're going to continue to see the same type of delays and situations. Okay, so on to the future. I have a trip that I picked up for tomorrow. I just had this one day off, and I'm going to be going from Denver to Boston, layover for 11 hours real quick, and then one leg, Boston back to Denver. So really, really quick and easy trip. I'm so excited. I get paid my minimum 5 hours each day, so it's a little bit of work for a decent outcome of pay. So that is like chef's kiss, like all you could ask for. So we'll see how it goes. Boston is one of my company's sub bases. It's a small base, and so is Denver. So I know at my company, they put out a message saying they're prioritizing their international travel, making sure that those go out during the shutdown on time and no problems, and then hub to hub flying. So those are our major markets. In Denver and Boston just happen to be two of them. So I'm not expecting cancellations by any means, by what I can predict, but there's a good chance that we're going to be delayed just because of how many planes are able to take off and land with so few air traffic controllers. So I'll keep you updated, and I'm going to vlog tomorrow in the next few days to show you what things are going to be like. And so yeah, that's what we're gonna get back into it and hop back into the mess of things. So wish me luck, please. And if you're watching and you're a flight attendant or pilot or in the industry, leave a comment and let me know, has this affected your flights where you work, or what have you experienced? Because I saw a lot of people online saying they have not been affected at all, which I think is wild. A lot of my friends are all saying that they are having 2 to 5 hour delays, and I'm a little nervous. So just let me know if you have experienced that. Good morning, guys. It's 6:40 in the morning. I'm trying to be quiet because my boyfriend is sleeping, but I'm running behind. I'm trying to wash my face real quick and get out the house so I can get to my commuting flight this morning to Denver, and everything looks like it's on time still, so that's good. The plane has already arrived, and so yeah, everything looks good so far. My one working flight from Denver to Boston looks like it's on time as of right now, but that definitely is still like something I'm watching since things are still moving and shaking. So yeah, I'll keep you updated on that. I only have about 20 minutes before I have to run out the door, so I'm gonna wash my face real quick. I think I'm gonna skip makeup and just wear my glasses, my black glasses today, because I have 4 hours between when I land and then when I have to leave to Boston. So I could always do my makeup in our crew room and do my hair if I wanted any more, like curl it or something. But yeah, I'm just gonna get ready real fast and get out the door and grab some coffee. So wish me luck today. Let's get going. Hi guys, I am in my hotel room here in Boston. It is 1:46 in the morning. But yes, I finally arrived. I got here probably about 45 minutes ago, so probably around 1 o'clock, and I just hopped in the shower real fast and started getting ready because I don't have a very long layover at all today. It is only about 10.5 hours, so really close to our minimum rest time. So I'm about to brush my teeth and head straight to bed. But I wanted to tell you a little bit more about the day. So I flew into Denver and my commuting flight went so easy, so calm. I flew on United and everything was on time. So from Portland to Denver, everything was great. So one flight down with no delays. Happy about that. But I then had a little bit of time, about 4.5 hours before I had to be at my gate, and my friend Ryan was landing at the same time as me since he was coming home to Denver from his trip. So we got to catch up and chit chat and have a little like breakfast moment and talk, and that was so nice to be able to kill some time and have a friend to catch up with. So I always love seeing my friends in the airport. It's so fun to like both be like passing ways from each other and getting to catch up a little. So finally, then we went, and it was time to check in after a long time waiting and sitting around. And we were a little bit delayed boarding from Denver to Boston just because we had some crew laying over downtown in Denver that were going through way too much traffic to get here. So that kind of delayed the boarding by maybe 15 minutes, but we ended up closing the door and pushing back on time. So we did end up landing in Boston about 10 or 15 minutes late, I believe, and that's because after we pushed back from the gate in Denver, we didn't have a wheels up time or takeoff time for about, it was maybe like 30 more minutes. So although we had everyone boarded, we had to kind of pull over into a parking spot away from the gate area and wait around until it was our turn to take off. So we still only got here 10 minutes-ish late, so it wasn't too bad. Some of that flight time includes a buffer. So all in all, I'd say as far as delays and compared to last week, things were so much better. So I'm hoping things trend upwards, and I've heard words that read articles on the news that the Senate and the government is close to like completing a temporary deal to reopen the government. So that may or may not solve some of the delays, because from what I'm seeing in the news as well, this is just my opinion, is that it seems like a lot of air traffic controllers are not just calling out and taking temporary time off with all this action, but they're also resigning in large amounts. So that could continue to cause delays for an unknown amount of time. So it's really hard to say like what's going to be happening this holiday season. So, but today went really well. So yay for us, yay for our airline. I'm happy that the day was minimally impacted. So I'm gonna head to bed and see what's going on tomorrow. I'm happy I just have one leg back to Denver. It's gonna be a little bit longer of a flight. It is so cold here, by the way, in Boston. It's 34 degrees and I was freezing waiting for her van. But regardless, so one flight home, and then I'm gonna commute from Denver to Portland tomorrow, right after, probably on my airline, since we have a ton of flights from Denver to Portland. So wish me luck, and I'll check in with you guys at some point tomorrow or when I have a chance after I get home. Okay, bye guys. Morning guys, it is about 9:40 in the morning. I literally just woke up. I'm so tired. I did not get enough sleep, but let me show you what the day looks like outside today. So as you can see, it looks pretty clear out, but it is going to rain soon. The weather forecast says in about 30 minutes it's supposed to start raining, but it's like 38 degrees, so it's on the border of like rain and snow. So there's potential that weather could slow us down a bit. And the flight is, I want to say, 4.5 hours. Hopefully like it's a little bit less than that once we get our flight time from the pilots, but we will see. But I checked the flight status and it appears on time. So I do like to check before my flights. There's features online where you can look at where your plane is coming from, and sometimes your flight won't show delayed, but if your plane is delayed
landing where you are, like if it lands in Boston late, it won't always show delayed on your current flight, like the next one, if that makes any sense, until the very last minute. So it's always good to check where your plane's coming from as well, just in case. So I need to do that, but other than that, it looks like it's on time. But if that goes well, then we'll land in Denver around 2:30 p.m., I believe. But the challenge for me today is going to be commuting back to Portland. So I had saved a flight status on a United flight from Denver to Portland today to get updates, and I got no update. I think maybe I didn't look early enough because I looked yesterday, but maybe I should have looked a few days ago, because that flight is literally canceled, and that's part of the FAA staffing, it's saying. So that did affect my commuting flight, so that's such a bummer, because that flight was going to be at 4 p.m. so I'd only have to wait like roughly an hour and a half before between landing and boarding for that one. So I'm really sad that I'm not going to get home as early as I wanted to. That's such a bummer. But there is a Southwest flight at 5 p.m. I think, so I listed on standby for that, but there's only one seat available. It doesn't look like there's any other flight attendants listed for it, but the odds of that are pretty low that I might make it. So the next flight out of all the airlines after that is another United one, and that's not until I think 7 or 7:30 p.m. So I'm definitely gonna be sitting around for a while if I can't get on that Southwest one, waiting for the next United one. So I was really hoping to get home earlier than that, so that's such a bummer, but that's just the way commuting goes. So I'm not gonna cry over it. That's just what I literally signed up for. So yeah, I'm just gonna try to be positive and have a good attitude. So anyways, I gotta start getting ready and do my makeup and skincare and start heading out for my 10 p.m. van time. So here we go, another wonderful day in paradise.
Hi guys, it is Thursday, November 13th, I believe, and I am back. Got back from my trip yesterday and I got some groceries, so I'm just gonna unpack that while we chit chat. But wanted to end the trip with my updates, and a lot is happening. So as you know, yesterday I had one flight back from Boston to Denver to work, and that went out on time, so all was good there. And that was, yeah, nice to have an easy trip where everything went pretty well, decent-ish. The problems occurred after I got back to Denver, let me tell you. Oh no, something started leaking in my bag. I think it was these olives. Oops. Anyways, so when I got back to Denver, I was trying to commute from Denver to Portland, and that's where we had some trouble. So I got back to Denver around 2:30 p.m. and my commuting flight, I was going to try to take United at 4 p.m. and that flight was canceled. So that was a staffing control flight that they canceled, so I couldn't hop right to the next plane. So I started looking for other flights. Ooh, this juice got everywhere. Hold on. All right, so hopefully I got that cleaned up. But anyways, the trouble started after I got back to Denver. So I didn't make that United flight, and the next one available was Southwest at 5 p.m. So I grabbed some iced tea, grabbed a little sandwich, and just kind of hung out by the gate that I was going to. So finally it was time for the Southwest flight to board. So I waited until boarding was almost done. There was a lot of people at the gate, so I waited till I had a moment to speak to the agents, and I asked if there was any seats, and they said no, because that flight was really, really full. But if you know anything about non-revving and standby, you know that you should always wait until the plane is like actually out of the gate and left before you leave. So I still sat right where the gate agents could see me until the plane was gone. So about 5 or 6 minutes later, the agent called me on the speaker and asked me to come to the desk. So I walked up to the desk like, am I gonna make it? Like, I was so excited to try to make it, and she gave me a ticket. So I went and boarded the plane, and they tagged my rollerboard, and so I had my purse with me, just 2 bags. So I held onto my purse with all my stuff, like important things like wallet, passport, charger. The only thing in my bag was like clothes and just nothing like too important. So they tagged that bag, and I walked down to the plane. So the last minute standbys were all walking on as well. There's a few pilots trying to get on, and I'm looking around because they still don't have their assigned seating yet, looking for the empty seat. And I saw 2, and the first one was next to a woman, and I asked if anyone was sitting there, and she actually had reserved that seat, I believe. So I said, no worries, like, that's not a problem. And then I look to my left, and I see that there is one open seat next to these 2 gentlemen, but due to the size of the seats and all of that, there wasn't enough space between them for someone to really actually sit. So I couldn't fit into that seat, and the flight attendants told me that that was the last available seat. So I told them, like, there's nothing we can actually do here. Like, I'm not gonna fit in the seat. So I told them I'll take the next flight on United instead, and it's not a big deal, but they had checked my bag maybe 5 minutes right before I talked to them. And so I'm starting to feel like I might not get my bag back. This has never happened to me before, and so it was surprising, but I walked back up to the agent at the very top of the jet bridge, and I told her what happened and that I'll just take another flight. It's not gonna work out for me. And they basically said there's nothing they can do about the bag. The bag is going to baggage claim in Portland. So my bag left without me on the Southwest. So that was, yeah, that was not like how I wanted the evening to go. And I was so tired because the layover, I really only got maybe 5 hours of sleep, since it was a minimum rest layover in Boston. And if you know anything about sleep deprivation, it makes you basically more emotional. I wanted to cry, even though it was really stupid. And I was just feeling so frustrated that I'm sitting here for hours now trying to get home. But that's just the life of the commuter. So I was really frustrated, but this is just how travel goes sometimes. And I know that, like, logically I knew that. So I just had to get over it. So thankfully for me, I did end up getting home on the next United flight, and that one didn't depart until I think 7:30 p.m. There was a tiny bit of a delay when we were seated and pushing back from the gate, but I made it regardless, and that was its own thing. So I didn't end up landing in Portland until 9:20 p.m., and I was nervous because my bag had been sitting there for a few hours already. So I hustled down to the baggage claim area, and I saw the Southwest desk, and I hurried over, and there was an angel of a woman literally standing with just my bag behind a little rope divider. And she saw me coming, and she's like, "Is this you?" And I'm like, "Yes." I was nervous that maybe there's been people stealing bags from baggage claims lately. So I was nervous that maybe someone could potentially steal my bag. So I was scared. And she had it, and I told her my name and showed her my badge and whatnot, and I got it and eventually got home. So it all ended up fine in the end. So there was nothing to worry about, but you know, travel just makes people worry sometimes. Okay, so I'm in my comfy spot. Groceries are put away. Thought I'd share a little bit of my prediction of what the holiday season's gonna look like. So since the shutdown is officially over today, after the longest government shutdown in US history, the airlines are not they're not trying to get the flight numbers back up to normal, like daily departures. What it seems like on the news, what I've read, is they're going to maintain the same like 10% flight schedule cuts until air traffic control and the FAA can monitor if things can continue on operating safely. So that's basically what I read in the news. And this is just based on what I've seen and my opinions. So just I would say if you're going to be traveling or have friends and family traveling to you, just continue to monitor things day to day. So as we get closer to the holiday, there will, I'm sure, be more news about updates, and there's a lot of press coverage too. So unfortunately, there's nothing really else that I know besides that. So I'll be checking just as much as you guys. But it seems like the initial craziness of the massive, like, 5-hour delays has died down since the airlines have learned how to operate and which flights to cut. So as you saw, I told you one of the Portland flights was cut, the Denver to Portland one I was trying to make, but that makes sense that they would pick that one to me and that it was strategic because there's 5 or more flights a day going from Denver to Portland. So just taking out one of those in the late afternoon makes sense since they could get and reposition the customers on other flights as well. So that to me is what I think the airlines are going to go for as far as cancellations. I'm guessing it's going to be flights that are very, very frequent. And United's said they're going to reduce and not cut as many hub to hubs. So if you're going to a non-hub like Portland, there may be 1 or 2 cancellations, but in the grand scheme of things, if there's only 1 flight a day to a place, I would assume that they might leave that alone and then cut ones that are more frequent. So that's just my prediction and guess. But, like I said, just keep monitoring it and keep track of it. I have family that's going to come visit me here, and they are, I think, going to be flying Alaska. So we'll just keep monitoring Alaska's news and things like that as it gets closer to the day. But wish us luck, and I'm wishing all of you the best and that the holidays go really smoothly. I'm still so excited and gonna make the most of all the holiday cheer, and it just feels so nice to have the holidays coming up and have something to look forward to. So yeah, anyways, thanks for watching, you guys, and we'll see you on the next vlog then. Mwah. Bye.